Denver Post over the weekend did a lengthy Q&A with Rockies general manager Jeff Bridich, and it was published. You can see it online, or you can see it if you get a hold of the newspaper from Sunday's newspaper. Did you read it? Did you feel Bridich gave sensible answers? And is there anything there you might take issue with?
This is what I want to know, and I'm kind of half joking about this, but kind of not. I'm wondering if the writer of that story had you submit questions, and I'm being dead serious about this.
Nick Grope was the writer.
Did Nick have to submit questions and then wait for an email back with the answers? Because that's what the franchise used to do when Dan O'Dowd was the GM. I'm hoping Nick had a chance to actually sit down with Jeff and actually get answers. And if that was the case, then I think this Rockies organization has at the very least evolved. Now, to get to your question, the thing that stuck out to me more so than anything was when Jeff was asked about trades, he said, yeah, we're open to listening. We're open to taking phone calls. But I'm not really being an aggressor on this. And I'm thinking, why not? Why aren't you being aggressive to see what you can get? Why are you being the girl hanging out by the phone waiting for the date instead of being the girl and saying, you know what? I want to go out with that guy.
Does that tell you they're not sure if they're sellers or buyers here?
They have no real buy. Why would they buy?
Well,
for what reason?
Their owner is somewhat delusional, and I wouldn't be surprised if he thought that they were still contenders. After all, didn't they just knock off the Atlanta Braves 4 games in a row? I'm serious about this. I think it's absurd, but I'm serious when I ask you that.
Well, you can say that every single season for this simple reason. The Rockies were about 3 games over 500 around September 15th of 2007. So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, we can win 21 out of 22. I know it. We've done it before. I take issue with one thing, and I think Jeff gave very sensible answers.
Yeah. He's a measured guy.
Absolutely. I do take issue with one thing, though. Every team suffers injuries. Every single team.
I couldn't believe he was throwing out Morneau.
Morneau and Dickerson. Break. You know what? Their problem is not Morneau and Dickerson. Their problem is on the mound. It is, always has been, and probably will continue to be as long as they operate like this. It's about pitching. It's always about pitching. But other teams, you don't hear them crying about injuries as much. I'll give you, for instance, the San Francisco Giants haven't had Hunter Pence most of the year and haven't had Matt Cain most of the year. In fact, Cain has only started 1 game, okay? That's a guy that, when healthy, is your number 2 or 3 starter. But you don't hear them crying about it, and they're still contending. The Washington Nationals, they haven't had Steven Strasburg healthy most of the year. They're number 1 or 2 pitcher. They haven't had Jason Worth for the majority of the year. They're without Denard Span, a starting outfielder who could have been an all-star this year. They're not crying about it. They're still in first place. The New York Mets, David Wright hasn't been around. They're all-star third baseman for most of the year. They're not crying. They're still in contention. So, let's put the injury sobbing aside.
Oh, no.
This is not about injuries for the Colorado Rockies.
Let's put this in perspective, and I'll ask you. Give me a proven player on that roster. One proven player that is in his prime who has been injured this year.
The Rockies?
Yeah. One proven player in his prime who's been injured this year.
To be fair,
yeah,
Justin Morneau did win a batting title and play very good defensively last year.
In his prime.
And Corey Dickerson.
Not proven.
To me, he's proven. Can I tell you something? When he's
healthy, full
healthy,
year?
When he's healthy, I think he vies for the National League batting title. I do.
I'll tell you right now,
that's how impressed I am by his bat.
Tyler Matzik at the end of last season looked like a Cy Young Award candidate.
You know what? People got all wild about Tyler Matzik. He was a young kid who had a couple of good games.
I think that Dickerson has the chance to be a very good player, but I've seen a sample size of maybe a year. Give me a proven guy in his prime who has been injured this year. No one.
No.
Not
Ottavino,
not
healthy,
Dickerson,
Arenado healthy.
Not Morneau. Morneau's not in his prime. I wouldn't say that, even though I like Dickerson, he's not proven yet. And while I love Ottavino's slider, he's not proven either. So give me a guy who has.
I disagree with you on Ottavino and Dickerson. I'm sorry, but you make a good.
What has Ottavino proven in his career?
He's got great stuff.
Didn't say he didn't.
And
what has he proven in his career? I'm not saying he doesn't have the potential to be great. What is he?
I think he's proven to be a very good reliever out of the pen.
For how long?
Well, he did it last year.
Last year.
He's got plus stuff, Eric.
You know what?
This is a guy who could be closing in this league and be a very good closer.
Very funny you should say that. Because if you told me, or if I told you 2 years ago that Rex Brothers went down during spring training following a remarkable season, you would have said, I believe in this guy too.
Oh, no. Never believed in Rex Brothers. You obviously weren't reading my tweets over the weekend. Even when he had that nice season 2 years ago, didn't believe in Rex Brothers. Just has never been.
I think Ottavino has a chance to be terrific.
Yeah.
I think Dickerson has a chance to be terrific. But you got to give me a larger sample size than 1 year from each guy.
Well, you know, agree to disagree. My eyeballs tell me that Dickerson and Ottavino are very good major league players. But in the meantime, we got off track a little bit.
Well, if that's the case, you have 3 All-Stars in the infield.
Yeah.
You have Corey Dickerson, who's a terrific corner outfielder. You're hoping that Carlos Gonzalez is going to return to form. You like the way he's played over the last...
Or even close to form.
Okay. And then you have Troy Tulowitzki playing shortstop, who's obviously playing great.
Blackman playing pretty well right now.
Okay. You have John Gray down in the minors.
Hundley doing a nice job behind the plate. What does that tell you?
That's my whole point.
The bottom line, it's about this.
I get it.
It's about pitching.
I get it.
That segment sponsored by John Elway Chevrolet, Colorado's #1 Chevy dealer.